The relentless sun, a harsh white orb in the sky, beat down on the corrugated iron roof of the shack, a tin oven in the heart of the sprawling slum known as Ajegunle. Inside, amidst a chaos of salvaged scraps and tattered cloths, Mariam hummed a tuneless lullaby, her eyes wide and unfocused, fixed on a patch of peeling paint on the ceiling. Her belly, grotesquely swollen, was a testament to a life she no longer fully comprehended. She was mad, a broken vessel, adrift on a sea of delusions. Yet within her, two lives stirred, oblivious to the storm raging in their mother's mind. One sweltering afternoon, with only the distant cries of street vendors hawking pure water and the gala for witness, Mariam gave birth. It was a brutal, primal delivery, but from the depths of her madness emerged two perfect screaming infants. A boy, strong and squalling, and a tiny, delicate girl. She named them in a moment of fleeting clarity, Cain and Kira, whispering the names like a forgotten prayer. The names echoing a faint memory of biblical stories she might have heard in some distant past, were a stark contrast to the squalor of their birth. Life with Mariam was a strange, unpredictable dance. Cain and Kira learned early to navigate the labyrinth of our moods. One moment, she would cradle them with surprising tenderness, her gaze momentarily softening. The next, she would shriek at imaginary juju men or evil spirits, her eyes wild with terror. They learned to feed themselves, to scavenge for scraps from overflowing refuse bins, and to soothe each other's fears in the echoing silence of their mother's vacant stares. Their childhood was a constant tightrope walk between fleeting moments of maternal affection and long stretches of bewildered neglect. The smells of open drains and burning refuse were their constant companions. Yet, remarkably, they were not mad. Their minds, though shaped by the chaos, remained lucid, their spirits resilient. They clung to each other, two small anchors in a sea of madness, their bond forged in the crucible of neglect. Cain, the elder by minutes, became the pragmatic protector. He learned to identify edible discarded items, to barter for scraps of cloth with the local market women, and to shield Kira from Mariam's more volatile outbursts. Kira, with her soft voice and observant eyes, often found ways to calm their mother, her gentle touch sometimes reaching through the fog of Mariam's delusions. She would sing to Mariam the same tuneless lullabies. Mariam hummed, a strange mirroring of their fractured reality. As they grew, their differences became more pronounced. Cain, protective and resourceful, became the pragmatist, always searching for ways to improve their meager existence. He imagined a world beyond the slum, a world where hunger was not a constant companion. Kira, observant and intuitive, was the dreamer, finding beauty in the discarded and solace in the stories she wove in her mind. She would draw intricate patterns in the red dust with her fingers, her imagination a vibrant escape. They understood instinctively that their mother lived in a different reality, one they could not fully enter. They learned to anticipate her needs, to deflect her rages, and to provide the semblance of care she, in her own fractured way, tried to offer them. Their empathy was a quiet, profound force, born of their unique circumstances. One scorching afternoon, while foraging for discarded food near the wealthier part of town in Ikoyi, they stumbled upon a small, well-tended garden. The air here was cleaner, the scents of blooming bougainvillea replacing the acrid smells of the slum. A kind-faced woman, Mrs. Davis, was pruning roses, her movements graceful and unhurried. She saw the hunger in their eyes the raggedness of their clothes, and the quiet dignity with which they carried themselves despite their circumstances. Their eyes, bright and intelligent, belied their unkempt appearance. Intrigued, she offered them a meal, her voice gentle and inviting, laced with the polite cadence of a well-bred Nigerian woman. Over plates of warm jollof rice and stew, a luxury they had only dreamt of, Cain, with a maturity far beyond his years, recounted their story. He spoke of their mother's illness with a careful vagueness, shielding the full, unsettling truth of her madness. Mrs. Davies, a woman of deep compassion and no children of her own, was moved. She saw not just two impoverished children, but two bright, eager minds waiting to be nurtured. Her husband, Mr. Davies, a retired history teacher from a prestigious Lagos secondary school, was equally impressed by the children's intelligence, their thirst for knowledge, and their remarkable resilience. He engaged them in conversation, asking about their dreams, and was struck by their articulate responses, unmarred by their difficult upbringing. After much deliberation and cautious visits to their dilapidated shack in Ajegunle, where they witnessed Mariam's state firsthand, her vacant stares, her sudden bursts of unintelligible incantations, the Davies made a life-altering decision. They recognized the immense challenge, but felt an undeniable pull to help. They offered to take Cain and Kira in, to educate them, to give them a chance at a life beyond the slum. It was a leap of faith, an act of profound generosity, something not often seen. It was a difficult decision for the twins. Leaving their mother, even in her madness, felt like a betrayal. The thought of abandoning her, even for a better life, gnawed at their hearts. But Mariam, in one of her clearer moments, seemed to sense their need for a different path. She simply patted their heads, her touch surprisingly firm, a faint smile gracing her lips. "Go," she whispered, her voice surprisingly soft. "Be good children. God will protect you." It was as if a part of her, buried deep beneath the layers of delusion, understood the opportunity presenting itself to her beloved offspring. Life with the Davies was a revelation. For the first time, Cain and Kira experienced the warmth of a stable home, the luxury of regular meals served at a proper table, and the boundless world of books. Mr. Davies patiently taught them to read and write, patiently correcting their pronunciations and encouraging their burgeoning curiosity. He opened up the past to them, telling stories of ancient African kingdoms and the fight for independence, igniting a thirst for knowledge that had been dormant. Kira devoured Achebe novels and poetry, her imagination soaring. Cain gravitated towards textbooks on physics and engineering, his analytical mind thriving. Mrs. Davies taught them manners, nurtured their spirits, and provided the unwavering love they had never known. She taught Kira to sew, to cook traditional Nigerian dishes, and to tend the garden, instilling in her a sense of calm and purpose. Yet, they never forgot their mother. Every week, sometimes more often, they would visit Mariam. The Davies, understanding their deep-seated loyalty and knowing the importance of family, would accompany them, ensuring their safety and bringing small gifts for Mariam. A clean wrapper, a simple meal of rice and beans. Mariam, despite her continued madness, always recognized them. Her eyes, though often distant, would flicker with a spark of recognition, and she would reach out, touching their faces with a frail hand. "My children," she would murmur, her voice a fragile whisper, a sound that always tore at Cain and Kira's hearts. Those moments were their solace, a fragile bridge between their two worlds, a tangible link to their past. They would sit with her, sharing small stories of their week, even if her responses were nonsensical, just to be in her presence. Khan excelled in mathematics and science, his sharp mind grasping complex concepts with ease. He devoured textbooks on physics and engineering, his ambition growing with each passing year. Kira, with her keen eye for detail and innate creativity, gravitated towards the arts and design. She discovered a talent for sketching and fashion, her designs a vibrant expression of her inner world. They both worked diligently, driven by a silent promise to themselves, to build a life not just for themselves, but for their mother, to provide her with comfort and dignity, however late. They graduated at the top of their classes from the best universities in Lagos, their futures shimmering with possibility. Cain secured a scholarship to a prestigious university abroad, his brilliance undeniable. Kira, too, earned a scholarship to a renowned design academy in Paris. Their farewells to the Davies were tearful, but filled with immense gratitude. Cain, with his analytical prowess and unwavering focus, ventured into the cutthroat world of international finance. He started at the bottom, but his sharp intellect and relentless work ethic quickly saw him rise through the ranks. He became a master of investment, his strategies yielding exponential returns in New York and London. Kira, with her artistic vision and innate sense of style, founded a successful fashion house in Milan. Her designs, celebrated for their unique blend of vibrant African prints and modern silhouettes, quickly gained international acclaim. They became wealthy, their names synonymous with success and innovation, but the memory of their beginnings, of their mad mother in the tin shack in Ajegunle, remained their constant anchor, a humble reminder of where they came from. The time had come. They had built their empire, amassed their fortune, and now they would use it to help the woman who had, in her own broken way, given them life. They found the best specialists, the most renowned clinics in Europe, and decided to fly Mariam abroad, to a place where hope, however slim, still existed for neurological recovery. They arranged for private jet transportation, ensuring her comfort and safety, a far cry from the cramped danfos of Lagos. It was a challenging journey. Mariam, disoriented by the new environment, the unfamiliar faces, and the clinical routines, struggled. But Cain and Kira were relentless, showering her with care, patience, and the best medical attention money could buy. They hired dedicated nurses, consulted with world-leading psychiatrists, and explored every possible treatment. For months, they tried. There were glimmers of improvement, moments when her eyes would clear, when she would speak coherently for a few minutes, acknowledging her children, recalling fragments of her past, a childhood memory in her village, a fleeting moment of joy before the madness took hold. They held on to these moments, their hearts aching with a mixture of hope and despair, each flicker of lucidity a bittersweet victory. One crisp morning, in a quiet European hospital room, after a particularly lucid conversation where she had spoken of their childhood, her gaze turned inward. Her breathing grew shallow, her face serene. Cain and Kira sat by her bedside, holding her frail hands, their hearts heavy with a sense of impending loss. They knew instinctively that her time was drawing near. With a sudden surge of strength, she looked at them, her eyes remarkably clear, free of the mists of madness that had clouded them for so long. The decades of delusion seemed to lift, revealing the woman she once was. "My children," she whispered, her voice weak but steady, carrying an unexpected weight of clarity. "You are good children. You have always been good, better than I deserved." A faint, knowing smile touched her lips. "Remember this. Always be together. Stay united. That is my last wish. Promise me." Ken and Kira, tears streaming down their faces, clutched her hands tighter. "We promise, Mama," Ken choked out, his voice thick with emotion. Kira nodded, unable to speak, her heart breaking, yet filled with a profound sense of peace. With those words, a peaceful sigh escaped her lips, and Mariam, the mad woman who had given birth to 2 extraordinary children, slipped away. The room filled with a silence that was both profound and gentle. Khan and Kira clung to each other, their tears a testament to a love that transcended madness, poverty, and loss. They had given her everything they could, and in her final moments, she had given them the most precious gift of all, a clear, lucid wish, a guiding principle for their lives. They buried her in a quiet, sun-drenched cemetery overlooking a serene lake, a world away from the dusty slum of Ajegunle, her memory a bittersweet reminder of their resilience, their love, and the unbreakable bond that tied them forever. They honored her last wish, always remaining united, their success a living tribute to the mad woman who, against all odds, had brought them into the world and set them on a path they never could have imagined.